Hi, how you doing? It's a beautiful sunny day here in California. Perfect day for solar. And put together a video that covers the 5 key things that you really need to know if you're looking into solar. And so I put this presentation together. And what we're going to cover today is about Tesla Solar, how solar works. We're going to cover solar equipment, utility rates, and then finally, solar incentives and financing options. So about Tesla Solar, well, we're named after the father of all modern day electricity. His name was Nikola Tesla. And his dream was to one day give free, unlimited energy to all of mankind. Today, our vision is a reflection of Tesla's dream to one day share free, unlimited energy from our most abundant resource, the sun. This is me. My name is Neil Weber, and my experience, I started in roofing back in 1992, and I grew to the area's largest roofing contractor. And in 2005, I was introduced to solar through roofing. We were trained to install solar for the new home builders that we were doing homes for, and I fell in love with it, and I just felt like it was going to be the future one day. And so as of today, I have 13 years in solar so far, which in our industry, that's like saying you're around since dinosaurs roamed the earth still. And so far I've developed 12 million watts of solar. These are the 3 reasons right here that I do solar. Axel, Neil the Fourth, and Dylan. These are my 3 kids. And I provide for my family by doing solar for one. But more importantly, I'm making a better and cleaner environment for their future. And that's what I really love about doing solar. So in our gift, we also sponsor the 4 Energy program. So if you're familiar with them, they're the ones cleaning up the plastic island out in the Pacific Ocean right now. And with each purchase, we fund some of their cleanup. And they recycle what they take out of the ocean into different products, including these bracelets. And the bracelets fund more of the cleanup project. So you'll receive one of these if you go solar with us. If you would like to learn more about their project, you can do so at the website on the bottom. Here's some of our 5-star reviews from Facebook, from Yelp, and 5-star reviews from Google. And we are also an A-rated business, and we're accredited with the Better Business Bureau. So we're going to cover now, talk about how solar works. So to start out with, 1, the solar panels convert photons from the sun into DC electricity. Now we can't use DC electricity in the home, so we have to convert that into alternating current. So it goes to its inverter box, and its role is to just convert DC electricity into alternating current so we can use it in the home. Now any surplus that we don't use will go back to the grid. And when it goes back to the grid, the utility will use it. So that's how solar works. So here's how net energy metering works. So net metering, we covered 1, which is right here. We're going to make the electricity with the solar panels, convert it into alternating current with an inverter, use it in the home. Now from there, it's going to go back to the grid. And it's going to hit this meter. Now they're going to install what's called a bi-directional meter in your home when you go solar, because now they need to meter how much energy is not only coming into the home that you're using, but how much you're producing and sending back to the utility. So during the day, you're going to have a surplus, and it's going to go back to the grid, and it's going to build up a credit for you all throughout the day. Now at the end of the day, when the sun goes down and the solar's not working, we're going to pull the energy back from the grid. So that's going to take the meter down. It's going to use that credit up that we were talking about earlier. So that's going to come back to the grid. So that's how net metering works. Now in net metering, we call it NEM, net energy metering. The original net metering works like this. There's a peak rate and off-peak rate. So this is the original net energy metering program. The sun would come out, hit the meter, and give us a credit at peak rate. So you can see we're getting peak rates for this. So the sun would hit, then noon, we get peak rate for it, and we keep getting credited for peak rate. Now, peak rate means that the utility is going to pay us for the highest possible dollar that we can get for our energy going back to the grid. So for this illustration, we've got, let's just say in a period, we send 1,000 units of energy back to the grid, and they're going to credit us $458 for it. Now in the evening, we're going to buy it back from the utility, however, at a lower rate than what we sold it to them for. So in the evening, since the energy is cheaper, that same exact amount of energy could cost us $327. So if we did this the right way, we could benefit from it with solar with net energy metering. The utilities didn't really, want to do that forever, so they changed the rate time, the time that was peak and off-peak now. So now you have peak rates the same, off-peak the same, though those remain constant. But now when the sun comes out, let's just say 9 or 10 o'clock, solar starts generating really well, but we're just going to go back to the grid, and they're not going to give us the peak rate until 1 p.m. now. So till noon, and then after 1 o'clock we will start getting peak rate. So we could end up with a $327 credit within that same time period we were discussing earlier. But in the evening, now since the sun is down, from 5 to 8 p.m., let's just say, we're going to get from about this period to here. In the evening, it's typically when sun goes down, people come home, 5:36, and until 8 o'clock at night, this period here, we're going to get charged peak rate again. So if we're not careful in how we use our energy with the new NEM program, we could be upside down and be at a disadvantage with solar, because now we could have a $131 bill with the exact same scenario we showed with a $131 credit with the original net energy metering program. So the solution here is, there is a solution, and that is the newest thing that we're doing right now that I'm excited about, which is energy storage systems or batteries for solar. So, and we're going to have a separate video that we're going to talk about that with, because that's a complete standalone video that we're going to make. So we're going to talk about the next. But there is a solution. And basically, what you just need to take away is from about this time here is when your batteries are going to charge, and when the solar is not working and when the sun is down, from about here, 5 to 8 p.m. is when the batteries are going to be used in the home rather than pulling from the grid. So you're going to charge at the off-peak rate and then use them when you come home till about 8 p.m. and then they'll charge again after that. So that's basically NEM 2.0A. So now we're going to talk about solar equipment, and we're going to start with the modules, or panels people call them, but they're modules. The monocrystalline modules, here there's two types. So you've got monocrystalline and polycrystalline. Those are the only two types of solar panels that are made. Everything falls underneath those two categories. So we're going to talk about monos first. Monocrystalline look like this, and you can tell them by their hallmark signature is they're a uniform black color, because when they manufacture these panels, they are made with a uniform crystalline structure, so not a lot of the energy gets reflected back out. So most of it gets captured and absorbed, and that's what gives them this black appearance. So most of the energy is captured in the cell and converted into electricity. These are the highest efficiency panels. They look the nicest because they have a uniform black look to them because of the cells. They have the longest life expectancy, best performance, uniform black coloring on the cells, and a 25-year warranty. Now these are a little bit of a premium price because of the manufacturing process. To grow a uniform, crystalline, perfect structure is a little bit more intense, manufacturing intensive than growing a polycrystalline structure where they just pour it into a mold. And I'll show you what those look like here. Now you may have seen these. These have more of an industrial or commercial kind of look to them. You've probably seen these around. So these are a little less efficient. These aren't bad panels, but they're a little less, they have that commercial look to them. They have a little bit shorter lifespan, lower performance, and this multi-blue shade coloring to them. They have a 25-year warranty typically. That's not as comprehensive as the monocrystallines are typically, but they are a less expensive panel. So that's the two panel types. So when you're looking at solar with whoever you go with, just you want to make sure that you're getting a monocrystalline panel. Ask the contractor if it's a mono or poly panel, and look at the specs, because I've seen this happen a lot more recently than before, where people are trying to sneak in polycrystalline panels in residential installations. There was a recent customer, they were using 72 cell commercial grade panels, these large panels on a residential home to keep the cost down, and it's really, really unattractive. So if this was on a 3-story building up in the air in a commercial building, you would not see them and it wouldn't matter, but it doesn't help anybody in the solar industry if the solar installations don't look good, because then that's an objection people have. They don't want them on their homes, they don't look nice. So we want to make sure that we're using a monocrystalline panel. One, they're higher efficiency, they last longer, they're going to perform better, and they're also going to look much nicer. So now we're going to talk about the inverters. So the modules are going to create the electricity in DC current, send it to an inverter where it's going to switch it to AC. So there's two brands now that just about everybody is using. Solar Edge, and this is what's called an optimizer. And then there's Enphase over here, and this is what's called a micro inverter. These two products, and I've used both of them for years, they basically do the exact same thing, but they just do it in a different way. So, so it's pretty much up to the contractor on what their preferences for installations. Or crews might be more familiar with Enphase or more familiar with Solar Edge. So they both come with 24/7 web-enabled monitoring, which is fantastic. I really like looking at systems and seeing how they're performing in real time, and you can see historical data. I love doing that sort of stuff. And they're basically, these two products came along because the original inverters for solar would only last about 10 years, and they were an inductive inverter. These are solid state equipment, so one, they last much longer. And the second thing is, the old ones used to string together everything. All the panels would go to one centralized inverter. Now the drawback to this was that if cloud cover, a shadow, or a leaf, or anything got on one panel, it would affect the entire system. So if one panel went down, the whole system went down. Well, with the optimizers and microinverters, they solved that problem so that all the panels run independently. And so how this affects you is that you're going to get about 15% greater energy production by using either one of these, and you're also going to have an inverter that lasts, the life of the panel, 25 years. So both of these are fantastic. So now we're going to discuss utility rates for a minute. And utility rates in California, where we're at here, they have the big three here are the IOUs, they call them. So you have IOUs, which are independently owned utilities, which are PG&E, SDG&E, and SCE. And the rest of them are munis, or they call them they're municipalities, operate more like a government-run utility company by the city or state. And you can see here the big three here. this is an article from ABC News that they recently increased, this is for high usage customers, 80% increase. So, and this plan was approved 3-1 by the State Public Utility Commission. There's a link to article on the bottom here. And this is going to affect 9 million customers of the state's 2 largest utilities, which is PG&E and Southern California Edison. So 80% increases is significant. That's not the norm. You know, if you track over the last 30 years, you're going to find between those 3 utilities, not including the munis, you're going to have about a 7% annual increase. So if you're in PG&E, Edison, or San Diego Gas and Electric, you're going to have a little over a 7% annual increase on average, and that's going to be the same amount of energy what you're going to pay for it over time. So what happens when you have a 7% increase over time? Let's take a look. So we're going to use an example of a $150 month electric bill for 12 months. So we're going to do it yearly. That'd be $1,800 you'd spend for your electricity per year. Okay, and then year 2 at 7% increase, it'd go up to $1,926. Okay, year 3 at a 7% increase, $2,061. And year 4, $2,200. Year 5, $2,359. So we're going to go in 5-year increments real quick here. So years 6 to 10, your bill will go up already to $295 from $150. So 12 months, $295. So you're going to start out year 6. Year 7 is $2,700. Year 8 is $2,890. Year 9, $3,093. By year 10, you're spending $3,309 per year. So between the years 11 and 15, your bill will go up to $415 now, or $413. And year 11, you're going to spend $3,541. Year 12, $3,700. Year 13, $4,000. Year 14, $4,300. Year 15, $4,600 and $41. Now, we want to keep in mind with this, you know, if this was, let's say, $580 a month, and that was going into a 401k, a principal payment on your mortgage, or into another investment, you know, that would really make sense. And I could, you know, I could understand doing that. It would make sense to do that. But your utility, once you write a check for your electricity to the utility company, it never comes back to your bank account in any form. There's no end of year bonus. There's no, if you move, you don't get your money back. There's nothing like that. If you spent $10,000 with the utility and then you move, they don't go, great, here's your $10,000 back, or here's part of it back. That just does not happen. So once it leaves, it's gone for good. So year 16, we're spending $49.66. Year 17, $5,300. Year 18, $5,600. Year 19, $6,000. By year 20, we're spending $6,510. So here it is, years 21 to 25, and we go out 25 years because that's the warranty on the panels. We know that they do last longer than that, but we just want to see the same time period solar versus the same time period with staying with the utility. So $760 per month times 12 months. So year 21, $6,900. Year 22, $7,200. Year 23, year 24 is $8,533. And then by year 25, you're spending $9,130 per year. So if you can pick, if you could choose a month and lock in your electrical bill at that rate and never have the 7% increase or any increase happen ever again, which month would you like to choose? Would it make the most sense to do it in? Year 1, 10, 15, you know, lock it in at $580 a month. You know, if you could pick any one of these, which one would make the most sense? I think we could both agree, or all agree, that year 1 or possibly even sooner, would make the most sense. So this is the fun for me, because I hear so many different answers to this question, and just take a guess real quick from all the numbers we just saw there. How much, by spending $150 a month at a 7% increase per year over 25 years, what's the total amount you all spent? So I don't know if you can read that number on the screen there. You can see it, but it's your $150 a month bill will turn into $113,848. So what are our options? So option A, we could lock in our bill and have it never go up again with solar, right? And everything we pay towards our bill goes into an asset, into equity, into something we own. Option B is stay with the utility company. That's also an option that some people, are continuing to do. So out of these two options, well, there's a third option. Third option is, just stop using electricity. I've been doing this for a long time. We could use candles. Don't use light bulbs anymore. Just get candles out, make our own candles. Don't use phones or computers. And, kind of like the Amish here. But I've been doing this for a long time, and I've never had anybody choose option 3. Some people choose option B for various reasons. But out of these 3, I think we can both agree that option A makes the most sense for most people. So now we're going to discuss rebates and incentives. Rebates, right here we have an energy rebate from the battery that's available in California right now, and it varies by jurisdiction, so it'll depend on where you're at. I'm in PG&E territory. Edison and PG&E, I know both are at 40 cents per kilowatt hour right now in the step for the rebate. And this is not a permanent rebate. This is a limited pool of funds, and then once the funds are gone, they have no more rebates left. 9.8 kilowatt hour battery would get you a $39.20 rebate. Now that's in addition to your other incentives. So you're going to have a federal tax credit. And like I said, we're going to discuss batteries in a complete other video that will cover this a little further. So we have batteries. There's a 30% federal tax credit. So just for some numbers, for a 6 kilowatt system, which we find is between a 6 and 7 kilowatt is probably average for California. $7,200 to $9,000 federal tax credit you'll receive for going solar. So now we're going to discuss, some financing options and the way most people go solar these days. First we'll talk about leases and PPAs. I'd say 10% based on the data. So I did some research and looked at the last 2,000 installations that we did and collected this to get these numbers. Approximately 10% went with a lease, or what's called a PPA. PPA stands for Power Purchase Agreement, and that's just kind of a fancy word for lease, I guess. But so about 10% of people go with those. And the benefit to why would somebody go with a lease? So they're simple to qualify for, and they're mainly beneficial for customers that don't have a federal tax appetite. So we discussed those rebates and incentives in the previous slide. Some people are retired and they say, well, I don't pay federal taxes anymore, or I'm exempt for whatever reason, and they can't benefit from a 30% tax credit. So in those situations, sometimes a lease is a good fit. And because a leasing company will take the 30% and apply part of that towards the principal of the balance. So, but again, you don't own the system, but it's still a better option than staying with the utility company. Most people, 80%, according to our data, going with financed ownership. And that's where you finance a system for equal to or less than what you're paying to the utility, and you can use the federal tax credit, and again, you own the system. So once it's paid off, it's yours, and all the benefits are yours after that. So, and it's a fixed payment as well. About 10% of the people also are going with cash, and we're finding that some people may have an investment. They'll just pull money out of a 401k, and for solar, for them, they just look at it as another investment. So it's pretty risk-free, and you get a yield of about 15 to 20% annual return on a solar investment. So some people just do it that way, but I think we're just gonna focus on the financed ownership, because that's where most people choose. So this is the financed ownership programs that we have available right now. Zero down, and there's a simple application. It takes about 5 minutes to get you approved. 660 FICO score and above is the criteria for that. Fixed monthly payment that will be equal to or less than what you're currently paying, and you will own this asset. So every payment that you make, again, will be going into something that you own and paying down something that you're going to build equity in. And our rates are from 2.99%, and the term 12-year to 20-year terms. And just so we can talk some number here, is about a 6 kilowatt system. Finding the average payment we can do for solar customers in that range are as low as $80 or $95 per month. So, well, I hope I was able to answer some questions, be helpful today. And if you'd like to schedule a time and get a free consultation by phone, feel free to click the link down below, and we can get a custom proposal made up for you within a matter of minutes. So, hope you all have a wonderful day, and thank you for listening.